This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by Netflix. Go to netflix.com/buffalo for your free trial membership today.
What's up, everyone? Jon Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here. It's been just about 4 weeks since the world was introduced to the first Android 3.0 Honeycomb tablet, the Motorola Xoom. And in that month time, the tablet world has changed quite a bit. We've seen the iPad 2 get released. We've got more details on the LG G Slate coming out. We've got more details on HTC's Flyer, and there are a ton of other Android 3.0 or other tablets coming on the market. So what role does the Xoom have sort of in that? And I thought it'd be a great time to sort of give you an update on what I've thought about using the Xoom for the past month as you guys decide which tablet's right for you. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that I discussed during my review, and that is the build quality of the Motorola Xoom. The build quality is absolutely outstanding. Motorola did a fantastic job with the device as far as manufacturing goes. It feels really solid in hand, and when you're using it, you've got no doubt you're using a high quality piece of hardware. It's heavy without feeling bulky. It's solid without being heavy. If that makes any sense at all, you gotta hold one of these things in your hands. It really feels absolutely fantastic. And I noticed that when I first used it, and the more that I've gotten to familiarize myself with the Xoom, the more I like the way it feels. Sort of in that build vein, there's something about it that I found very, very annoying, and that rests right where you put your left hand on the back side. The left when you've got the screen facing you, and the right side when you've got it turned over. And that is that lock button is incredibly annoying to have to find with your finger. So when you've got the device in landscape mode, it's alright. You can go ahead and feel it right there with your finger. You can go ahead, lock the screen, or decide to unlock the screen. However, when you've got the device rotated, you really have to check to see which way you have it. So whether or not you've got the Motorola logo in the upper right, or whether or not the Motorola logo is going to be in the bottom left, it depends on where you put your finger to find that lock button. So whether you gotta go to the bottom, or whether you gotta use your other hand to go back up and hit it. It's been a huge annoyance with the Motorola Xoom. I wish if they were gonna do a physical button that it would have been on the front of the device. It would have made it a lot easier. It's especially strange considering they knew that the home button was going to rotate, and they used the soft button here always in the bottom left. I really would have liked the Xoom to have had the physical button right on the front so I could always know where it was. One of the big problems that I had with the Xoom when I first did my review was the lack of apps meant for 3.0 tablets, or Android tablets in general. That has since been rectified. There are a ton of tablet apps available, and there are a lot more coming soon. So let me go ahead and show you what those are. Let's go ahead and back up here. Go ahead and jump back. Go back into market, and let me show you some of the great tablet apps that are now finally available for the Motorola Xoom. So here are featured tablet apps. Go ahead and jump in. And from when I did my initial review, and there were maybe a handful, there are now many, many, many more, and many coming soon. Developers have had a chance to get their hands on the SDK now. I had a chance to perfect their applications, and there are just more coming on a daily basis. So if you're worried about apps, there certainly aren't as many as you'd have on previous 2.something versions of Android or Apple's iOS. But there are a lot of apps available, a lot of apps that you use and love in the past. So things like Dropbox, of course you've got Angry Birds living in here somewhere. Movies, there's Angry Birds Seasons. Cat in the Hat, if you'd like. There are a ton of application support now that wasn't there in the past. So talking about Android 3.0 in the home screen, and I know what you guys are saying right there. I am taking my wife, I'm a good husband, I am taking her to go see Lady Gaga in Las Vegas this weekend. That's the kind of guy I am. I didn't delete it. I figured I'd leave it there so you guys could know, possibly even make fun of me in the comments. Android 3.0 Honeycomb as an operating system. I found it to be a little bit cumbersome. It can be difficult to navigate at times, but the more you learn it, I think the more you can appreciate what Android can do for you. I love Android, and this is the same with the smartphone world. It is fantastic for customization. If you like to do even the slightest bit of tweaks with your operating system, if you want to change icons or have interactive widgets, Android 3.0 does a really fantastic job. If you want to get to the core of the OS and you want to make big changes, you've got the option to do so. And a lot of these UI tweaks you can do without having to do any fancy rooting. You can go right to the App Store and download apps that are going to change the way you look and interact with the device. That is definitely one of the pros of Android. I've really grown to like as well, and this is one of the things I mentioned in my review, I love the notification system and sort of the growl-esque icons across the bottom. I think they are extremely elegant, and it's just a fantastic way to view things as they pop up. You can see it right there. Some email, there's a thing to sign into an account, new applications available for download. They don't get in the way, and they really present the information nicely. I do miss the Android tray that sort of pulls down, but I've definitely gotten used to this. So one of the big additions that wasn't on the Xoom when it launched is Flash. Flash 10.2 is now available. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that's going to look like. We'll go ahead and hop on over to YouTube. You can see a video here of Noah talking. Let me go ahead and push play.
The Apple iPhone 4. This is the HTC Thunderbolt.
And you can see Noah talking.
On Verizon, although this is the AT&T version of the iPhone 4.
Alright, so let me go ahead and push play. You've got a sense to see what this looks like. It's a little bit choppy as Android, or as Flash generally has been on Android, but it's very, very watchable. Whether that's a combination of Flash 10.2 or the really impressive hardware, the Tegra 2 and the Giga RAM that are in here, I'm not sure, but you can definitely watch full screen Flash without any difficulty. This is probably one of the best mobile implementations of Flash that's currently available on the market. When you hear Flash, the next thing you're thinking of is Hulu. Will you be able to watch Hulu content? Unfortunately, the answer is no. You can view the Hulu website, but you can't view the content. So let's go ahead and take a look at the web browser. This is still one of the best implementations of tab browsing that I've seen available. And this is, of course, an Android 3.0 thing, not unique to the Xoom. But the problems that I had when I first used the device are still there. You notice it's not as fast as I'd like it to be. It takes some time for the content to show up, and this is over a relatively fast Wi-Fi network. I think this is a typical instance of the software not being fully optimized yet for the hardware. The hardware that's in here, as I just mentioned, the Tegra 2 and the Giga RAM, are extremely impressive. This thing is as fast as laptops from not even a few years ago, or at least should be in theory. As we see new updates to Android 3.0, 3.0.1, or whatever they decide to call it, I think we're going to see the core operating system take more advantage of the hardware. So the Motorola Xoom and Android 3.0 as a whole is resting a lot on the potential of what it can be. It can be that lightning fast platform. It can offer fully robust Flash content. It can offer smooth pinch to zoom, but it's just not there yet. You see the time that it takes to load. There's a lot still based on promise of what this can do. And the fact is that what it's doing right now, it's not delivering that optimal experience. I'm really excited about what Honeycomb can potentially bring. And this has nothing to do with preference towards operating system, whether it's iOS, Android, or WebOS coming soon for the touchpad. This is just how it interacts with the Xoom, and it is very slow. It's not to say that it's going to be true with other Android devices. It's just not as fast as other tablets out there. And again, I think that's just the case of the software not being fully optimized for the hardware, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and jump back home. So those are some of my quick impressions of the Motorola Xoom, Android 3.0 Honeycomb. I love the interactive widgets here. I think it's a fantastic way to interact with your content. I love being able to scroll through and see things in a dynamic way. I love the customization options that I have with the Xoom, and there are certainly a lot here. If you're looking to get a tablet and you sway the Android way, you're cross-shopping with the iPad 2, still give the Xoom a very, very solid look. It offers high-end features. It gives you the customization of Android. Just know that you're not going to be getting the lightning fast speeds that you'd expect from the Tegra 2. If this was a slower last generation Snapdragon chip that was processing this, I'd say it's probably relatively fast. But considering what Tegra 2 is capable of and what the rest of the hardware in here can do, it's just not as fast as it should be. But I think in the next few months, we're definitely going to get there. And hopefully we'll see 4G being added to the Motorola Xoom as well. Currently out of the box, it does not support Verizon's 4G network. It is going to have to allegedly be sent back to get that 4G upgrade. Something to keep in mind. You might want to wait until you can pick up a 4G Motorola Xoom, or even the Wi-Fi only version coming out very soon. So what do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree? Did I get a little rambly on you? Very curious to what what you guys say. Sound off in the comments. I'd like to thank our sponsors at Netflix for the support. Be sure to check out netflix.com/buffalo for your free trial membership. And if you want to watch a ton of really awesome TV and movie content, be sure to check out Netflix on your gaming console of choice, Xbox 360, PS3, or Wii, to go ahead and get your stream on. I'm Jon Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. See you in the next video.